So, on to the men's 400 metres we go. And this heat, we're going to see Maximilian Schwed, one of the top contenders, certainly, because he's run 45.18 this year. First of all, Janscha of Slovenia, Markel Fernandez of Spain. This is Tyrell Prenz of Germany. Alexandru Gabriel Vocin of Romania. On to Keenan Blake. So it's been a number of Dutch 400-metre talents coming through these competitions over the years. Isaiah Klein-Ikink is one of those who's also competing in this event this year. And then the second of the two San Marino athletes, having seen Gasparelli earlier, this is Pro Benvenuti, Matteo Di Benedetto. There we go, quite poetic to have Italy and San Marino next to one another.
On your marks.
And Schwed then, interesting that some of the faster athletes have been right on the inside. Schwed, national indoor record holder, Olympic and world indoor finalist in the 4x4 relay. That personal best was set last month. So here on the inside then, Benedetto, Benvenuti, Blake, Vocin, Prenz, Fernandez and Janscha. Bit of a wait for the athletes, but now underway with one lap of the track. So watch out for Schwed coming into the race late on, but you can see he's already got up and past Benedetto, who's not sluggish with a personal best of 46.4. So really keen to get an early advantage, and we know he'll come into it in the second half, visually as well, but Schwed appearing to be leading at this point as we wait for this stagger to unwind. Also going well is Markel Fernandez of Spain, 45.93 at best. So top three going through to those semi-finals, and Schwed leading the field from Fernandez, who's just about holding on to second place from Tyrell Prenz of Germany, the other athlete who's gone sub 46. So this one kind of going to form. 45.77 on the clock. And Schwed, he ran pretty hard there from the start, and then took a breather and saved something for the final 100. So a very sensible race run from the inside there by the pole. Schwed, who was an Olympic finalist in the mix 4x4. Of course, the Poles maybe were at the peak of their powers in those 4x4 relays a couple of years ago. They got that Olympic gold in Tokyo. Schwed wasn't part of the quartet then. It was Karol Zalewski and Kajetan Dushinsky, I seem to remember, who ran there. And some of their female athletes, apart from Natalia Bukowiecka, kind of in the later years of their careers. But Schwed, I guess you'd say, is one of the shining lights coming through, with Bukowiecka very much at the very top of her game. Former winner of this title in Gävle in 2019, triumphing in the relay as well, just beating Lada Vondrova, who came back a couple of years later with a Czech 1-2. So nearly 3/10 ahead of Fernandez was Schwed there. So on to this next heat of the men's 400 metres. Milan Škribani of Czechia, Mario Debrescu. Romania with a decent contingent here, and we've seen Michal Dringo and Andrea Miklos do well for them in the past, but Jonas Pfeiffers of the Netherlands, as we go past quickly there, Marko Orešković and Florian Kroll. Pfeiffer's coming in as the #1 athlete here, and yeah, Laura De Witte was quite impressed with that, but wondering just whether that has any impact psychologically. Certainly things are shaping up as though the Dutch will have a very strong men's 4x400 metre team. It's always interesting when you know that the team are at the top of their game at senior level. Well, what's the next generation coming through? What are you going to be like in a couple of years' time? Certainly, I know the staff and the team managers will be thinking about that at the very top of the federations. So Pozzo, Sylvester, Pfeiffers, Kroll, Oreshkovic, Dubrescu and Scribani. So that crisp sound of the gun, athletes speeding away, and you can see that Dubrescu going very nicely in the blue and yellow of Romania there from lane 7, and he's past the Czech athlete Scribani on his outside. So Dubrescu working hard around this bend, very close behind. Don't forget, top 3 in each heat going through. Pfeiffers and a challenge down this home straight, and Pozzo on his inside for Spain. So Jonas Pfeiffers, another who's able to save some energy as he comes through across the line in 45.76. So Pfeiffers ranked number 1 and looking very strong. Yeah, so yeah, top rank out of the athletes here in this competition, I should say. So 45.76 on the clock, more than half a second ahead of Pozzo, who just beat Kroll there on the line by a couple of tenths of a second. So let's have another look here, as we remember, of course, that there are 2 more heats remaining, and there are 4-time qualifiers available across all of them. Pfeiffers, yeah, saving that bit of energy. Really hot conditions here, 27-degree heat inside the Fana Stadion. Yeah, so we'll continue decathlon shot put and pole in a few moments. Back to the track for this next heat of the men's 400 meters. So 3rd heat of 4. Once again, it'll be the top 3 going through and 4-time qualifiers across all of these heats. So Brody Young is one of those athletes we've seen in the past at the under-23s, and back here having improved his personal best. Gerber, Huseman, Kovac also involved. Levasseur, you can see this year he's gone sub-46 for the first time. Federico Falsetti of Italy. You always expect the Italians to be strong in the 400 meters at these age group competitions, just because the likes of Edoardo Scotti, Vladimir Rossetti have come through over the last few years. It really started when they hosted the European Under-20s in Grosseto in 2017, has continued on since then, and Italian athletics really reaching the high point of a wave. They seem to be winning everything in Tokyo, and also defending their European Team Championships crown just recently. Obviously hot conditions, as we've been saying, but the sprinters do tend to like these conditions. So with Avonia, Henry, Falsetti, Levasseur, Kovac, Huseman, Young and Gerber in this 3rd heat of 4. The starter can certainly be heard here. Decathlon shot put going on in the background, as you can see. But yeah, another strong Romanian this boy. Yeah, going well on the inside and moving past Franklin Henry of Slovakia there. Brody Young going strongly, the Scottish athlete, US-based. Just trying to move past the Swiss athlete on his outside. Through the centre, Felix Levasseur, one of the fastest in the field, but it's extremely closely matched. 45.46 for Brody Young this year. He's chasing down Levasseur in the blue of France. And Gerber just about in 3rd place. In fact, he's very clear for these positions. Top 2 easing up across the line. Oh, it's close for that 3rd. 45.79. So weather still around 27 degrees here, and crowd trying to take shape. But Levasseur, look at that, a personal best by nearly 0.2 of a second. So yeah, we're seeing some athletes who really want to start up their competition strongly in the heat.
Well, there's a confident young man. Personal best, going out hard from the start and able to hold it all the way through. A confident look over the side of his shoulders as well from Brody Young. Takes the second qualification place. And it was a good start from the Romanian on the inside, just couldn't hold it and realised, as you can see there, just a little too late that he was outside of that third and necessary spot.
Yes, Brody Young was a gold medalist at under 23 level a couple of years ago, and there has been some real improvements over 400 metres, you know, particularly in Europe. Obviously Alexander Doom, phenomenal last year, just sensational, you know, right across Europeans, double there, and the world indoors, which is where it kind of started off earlier in the year. We often sometimes forget the story that lends itself right from the indoors.
Because we're going back to the track for the fourth of our round one 400 metres for the men. Luca Cito of Italy going in lane 8, European under-23 champion in the 4x4. Vasic Halkovic goes in lane 7. We stop with George John Franks, the US born and based athlete. Tezklat Sutkus of Lithuania, national under-23 champion this year. David Garcia, two-time under-23 championship silver medalist in Spain. And Andreas Glimelud, well received by the home crowd. He goes on the inside. So we'll have the 7 ladies outside of him to watch. Final slap of the chest.
On your horse.
Keep your eyes on lane 5 and the newly transferred Greekman, George John Franks.
Set.
And we're underway. Fairly even start. The Frenchman, Tezklat, powering through on the inside, going in lane 4. David Garcia really into his stride and going past the Lithuanian to the side of him. And now George John Franks well into his running. 200 metres to go. The Italian Luca Cito also going well on the outside. Franks and Garcia. Keep your eyes on Cito though, powering through the closing stages. Glimelud on the inside as well. It will be Garcia who will take this final heat, and a really close battle between the Norwegian and the Italian for who will take the positions behind. New personal best for David Garcia. Well, these 400-metre runners, they are enjoying running in this heat. A season's best for Andreas Glimelud. Luca Cito taking the 3rd qualifying spot with George John Franks. Outside of his personal best and season's best time, having to settle for 4th.
Yeah, very similar to Levasseur, personal best by close to a couple of tenths, 45.9 to 45.7 for David Garcia. Didn't expect him to be that far clear of Luca Cito, who of course was brilliant at the European Championships last year on home soil in Rome, helping them to relay medals. Coming 3rd here, behind Glimelud and Garcia. I think the Spanish team were kind of buoyed by very strong home championships in Madrid, and maybe there is just a little bit to be gained from hosting a championships and going straight into the next one feeling full of confidence. And Maybe we'll see that with the Slovenians as well, even though they maybe do have a smaller contingent than the Spanish. But yeah, there were Spanish national records in Madrid. I know we were concentrating on Maribor, we did see some results come through from there. Lucas Cito, who's just looking across, probably quite happy to see that there was no more than 2 athletes ahead of him.
And even more evident the distance that Garcia had at the front. Huge early performance, big statement from the Spaniard. And a new personal best. Semi-finals of the men's 400 metres, the first 3 going through to the final, and then the next 2 fastest time qualifiers. As we quickly move through the start order, a brief look at Brodie Young of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, 2-time age group medalist. Some fun and games from Levasseur, France, national under-23 champion indoors. Fastest in the field, Jonas Pfeiffer's, the only under 45 seconds this season. Gerber of Switzerland, part of the 4x100 metre winning team in 2023 at the European Under-20s. Quick look at John Franks, representing America up until May. Season's best, personal best set in America. And he's, of course, at university at 45.20. Voinia of Romania. Can he take inspiration from one of his compatriots taking a gold medal? Go out to something big from the inside lane. Jonas Pfeiffer's going in for his second age group championships, ranked 7th in Europe. Yet to break through onto the podium, though. This seems a big opportunity to do just that.
Set.
Again, slight wait, but now they're underway. First of the semi-finals for the 400 metre for the men, and it's a quick start from Gerson Pozo of Spain. Manuel Gerber of Switzerland going well. John Franks is making some moves from lane 2. Closed the gap on Manuel Gerber of Switzerland. And now Jonas Pfeiffer's coming into his own as they come around the bottom bend. Takes a look to the side, confident to go that early. Another look to each side. He needs to keep driving here. The danger's not over because Brodie Young is finishing fast in the colours of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The Frenchman in the middle, Levasseur, won't get there ahead of Brodie Young, but he will take the 3rd automatic qualifying place. Gerson Pozo, the one falling outside of the top 3. Handshake between Tyra Plons and Jonas Pfeiffer's, and Brodie Young waiting on for confirmation of his time as Pfeiffer's, well, he knows the job that he's done, and he knew 300 metres in because he looked side to side as he came into the home straight, confident in his position. But well, Alex, Brodie Young was finishing quick, and it's early to look, isn't it? That was his 3rd or 4th look at that point.
How many times have we seen that at these championships? It's almost like they're, I wonder if they train, you know, running like that, looking side to side in the warm-up. That's the way I'm going to as well. Yeah, that's the way I'm going to save my energy. Doing that, certainly need good neck muscles, maybe. Brodie Young, lead one of 4 Scots at these championships. Certainly I've been following the social media coverage of Scottish athletics, very proud to see that. And Rebecca Grieve will go in the women's 400 semis, but by the same token, Jonas Pfeiffer's coming in ranked first here, and Laura de Witte, former medalist at these championships. So, second semi-final of the men's 400. Florian Kroll of Germany, and then this man really is one to watch. Maximilian Schwed of Poland, national indoor record holder. 45.18 at best, on to David Garcia two Spanish athletes alongside one another. Of course, we've already had Gerson Pozzo, who's waiting to see if his time will be good enough from that first semi. Grimerud, personal best, came to the European Seniors in Rome last year, 45.9. Lucasito getting silver in the mixed 4x4 and men's 4x4 on home soil at those championships. And you've got Maz Janša of Slovenia and Debrescu of Romania on the inside. Two nations who've had decent athletes over 400 flat and hurdles come through these championships. Lots of Luka Janicic and, of course, Matic and Gucek, who looked good in the 400 hurdles a few moments ago for Slovenia. A good moment for the Romanian team, of course, a few moments ago in the women's triple jump. So Debrescu, Janša, Sito, Grimerud, Fernandez, Garcia and Šved, with Kroll on the outside in lane 8 for Germany. Second semi-final of the men's 400 metres. I have to say, this is another semi-final in which I highlighted 5 athletes coming into this. It tells you that it could be close. Look at the two Spanish athletes in the orange and yellow. And among those who could be closely matched, Fernandez making up real good ground on Garcia, who's marginally the faster of the two. Personal best of 45.77. But watch here, Šved in the red and white of Poland. He's only going to come into his own down the home straight. 45.80 and 45.90. The times of the athletes waited to see if they can progress. But now Garcia, clear of his teammate and just about neck and neck with Šved, who does come through at the end. Doesn't matter too much, though. They're both through to the final. There'll be at least one Spanish athlete making it there. So Šved, 45.39 on the clock for him. And Fernandez, 46.20. Kroll, 46.30. So not as fast as 45.8 or 45.9. So Levasseur and Pozzo appear to be joining through. Let's confirm that in a moment, though. So Maximilian Šved already has experience at senior level. Olympic and world indoor finalist as well in the 4x400 meters relay. Personal best sent at the end of last month. And it follows that decent time of 45.23 for Jonas Vijfers of the Netherlands. Two countries with a great 400-meter tradition. Šved 45.39. So looks to me that Gerson Pozzo does qualify from the first semi-final. Florian Kroll making it through as well. So all 3 Spaniards will be in the final. Is there a chance of another clean sweep? But I think nowhere near as likely as the 2 German throwing podiums. 400 meters here. So on the outside, Markel Fernandez, European indoor senior silver in the relay for him. Maximilian Šved, 45.18 at best. Big Polish hopes on him. Brody Young, one of those who competed at the European Under-23s a couple of years ago, has improved since then. 45.46 his personal best. Jonas Vijfers, though, ranked #1 out of the athletes here. Personal best in Hengelo, 44.93. David Garcia, you can see one of 3 Spaniards in this. Felix Levasseur, French nation that have won this title 4 times between 2003 and 2019. There's some Potso, a personal best this month of 45.75. And then Florian Kroll, a European under-20 silver medalist a couple of years ago. Similar to the women's event, we have had personal best through the rounds, as you might anticipate. Garcia improving in both the heat and the semi-final. From 45.95 to now 45.46. Levasseur improving by around a second to 45.78. So Kroll, Potso, Levasseur, Garcia, Pfeifers, Young, Shved and Fernandez. It's the final of the men's 400 meters. There's another championship record that could be within reach here. Ricky Petracciani of Switzerland, 45.02 from 4 years ago. Pfeifers, you can see there, Young has already made up ground ahead of him, so maybe the Dutchman saving something for the second half of this race. What about Maximilian Shved, though? A national indoor record holder from Poland, an Olympic and world indoor finalist in the relay as well. And he's looking very strong in the red and white. So, can anyone catch Shved here? Pfeifers will do his best, powering down this home straight when it starts to hurt, but he had saved something. And Jonas Pfeifers takes gold for the Netherlands, and it is another championship record. The first time that we've ever seen a sub-45 clocking at the European Under-23s, a championships that's been going since 1997. And Shved has to take that second place. A credible result for him. Brody Young pays dividends for him, returning to the Under-23s. And he gets a personal best of 45.34 ahead of Garcia, his third PB of this very competition.
Well, they just keep falling, don't they, Alex, these championship records? And I imagine we've got more to come. What a performance. Saved something, had it in the tank. Shved was brave, took it out hard. This is him coming around the bottom bend. And he'd done so much work, hadn't he, to get in a really good position. But Pfeiffer's just had that something left inside, and as you say, when it starts to hurt, those last 75, 60 meters, when your lungs are burning and your legs feel like you're running through treacle and moving in slow motion. Look at the distance he opened up over the last 100 meters. Massive performance. Championship record smashed once again. Something special in the air on Saturday night here in Bergen.
So there we are, Jonas Pfeifers improving on that championship record by 0.2 of a second.